if you want it, you can have it, just not right now. And I think that's a huge skill. It's not always a yes or a no. It's not in this moment. Work for it, save for it, and then you can have it.
I'm Alice Tang with Women's Million Dollar Conversations. Today, I'm sitting down with my gorgeous, capable, intelligent, wonderful friend and partner in the community, Salerno Owens. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you, Alice. What a great introduction.
Well, I can do better. But I will save a little bit for you to just tell us a little bit about yourself and your role in the community, your role in your family.
Thank you. So I am a trial attorney. I am currently the president of Markowitz Herbold, and I have 2 children who are ages 8 and 10. They definitely keep me on my toes. They are more challenging than any opposing counsel. And I've known you I was thinking about that. How long have we known each other? I think we're going on 15 years now. And it's been really great creating community and getting to know you.
That's awesome. Thank you for joining us today. So a little bit about Laura. She is my first Women's Million Dollar Conversation guest. She's the first one who said yes 3.5 years ago. And curious, Laura, since the first recording, 3.5 years lapsed, how has your mindset about money changed?
So when we did the recording, I remember this. I actually was at home because this was still COVID times.
That's right.
You know, and I think that my attitude about money and other things have shifted from a more traditional form of wealth to a more expansive idea of wealth. And so now I'm really interested in time wealth. For me, that was sort of the unlock that happened from the crisis of COVID. You know, they say never let a good crisis go to waste. And so for me, it's all about understanding that while you can continue to always accumulate more and more money, if you're doing it at the expense of your time and autonomy, then it's not worth that much. And I think that's been the biggest shift, is understanding wealth in a more holistic way.
What can time and money do for you today?
It's really interesting. Like you have said, you need money in some sense to be able to spend time, right? But time wealth for me is a lot about autonomy. It's about the who, what, and when, right? What am I working on, with whom, and when? And if I can control those 3 things, my professional satisfaction, my personal satisfaction goes way through the roof. And that is untethered in some ways from the money. But when you're doing those things, when you're controlling the who, the what, the when, it helps me get into flow. And then when I'm in flow, the things come, the success, the money, the other things. But it's getting those other pieces aligned first.
You reminded me of a book, The Big Leap. Mm-hmm. Have you read that book?
Yes.
When you're flowing, there's no time.
Yes.
Time just lapses. 16 hours pass. You're still playing piano.
Yeah.
Do you play?
My daughter does. And I pay money for it.
You are in what the book called in a genius zone. In that zone, everything is play. Everything is play.
You know, it's funny you say that. So a few years ago, I won this award, this Women of Influence award from the Portland Business Journal, which I know you have received as well.
Okay, check my hair.
And I met some other women with that, and we actually formed a little group, which we called ZOG, for Zone of Genius, you know? And it was about exactly that, right? Once you get to a certain stage, and this is something that they also talk about in another book that I'm a fan of, as you know, Die with Zero.
That's right.
Or as I like to say, I'm living the sequel, Live with Zero. But in Die with Zero, they talk about, you know, just the importance of time and doing what you want to do, but you have to have first certain financial stability. And so with these women that I met, these other Women of Influence Award winners, it's this inflection point. You know, you're 20 years into your career, you have 20 more years to go. You know what you're doing, you've worked hard, you've established yourself, so what's next? And I think that's an interesting conversation around, if it's not just about accumulating more money, what is it about?
It is about life, isn't it?
For me, it's life and it's community. And that's why I love what you're doing here. Because what's the point if you're just doing it for yourself?
That's right. What is the most memorable moment? I'm going to take you way back in history, arriving to that $1 million.
Yes. So the first time I hit the mark was in 2018. And I was thinking about this, and it was earning $1 million one year, bringing in $1 million of business. And so I was partnered with my legal assistant, Abby.
I love Abby.
Abby's amazing. And, every month I'd be on the phone with Abby. And I mean, it was almost like we had like an old school fundraiser thermometer, It was like, how close are we getting? Where are we on this? And it was so fun. We were working on it. We set this goal together. It was not a goal I could achieve by myself. We were all on the team pulling it in. And what was so fun is that after we achieved the goal, then the next memorable piece is Abby and her husband and me and my husband at the time and Dave Markowitz and his wife and Carrie Trujillo, our marketing person, her husband, the whole team. We all went on a trip to Las Vegas together to celebrate. And of course, then the following year when it was COVID and we were, shut down for a few years, I was even more grateful that we had done that thing. And at the time, it seemed maybe a little like extravagant or silly, but one thing that Dave has taught me that I really appreciate is you have to celebrate the wins, right? Because we often will wallow in the losses or the hard times, but it's also okay to celebrate the wins. And it's one of my most memorable moments was the kind of pulling and clawing and all things to get there. But then once we got there, we celebrated, and it was just a wonderful time.
What I've gotten out from what you just shared is make sure we pause to celebrate. And I am sure that we could do that not necessarily at the next million, but small things we did for ourselves today. We honor ourselves today. So what have we done to celebrate it?
Absolutely. It's even little things like I've been engaged in this horrible program. I don't recommend it. It's called 75 Hard. And one of the aspects of it is an outdoor walk every day. And just little things like that, like check, I got my outdoor walk in every day. It's beautiful, right? Just those moments of being outside, being in nature. And I really do think that is part of enjoying life. It can be big things like the $1 million mark, or small things like I went outside, I moved my body, and I'm able to do that. And I feel a lot of gratitude for it.
Beautiful. So we talk about how you get to your $1 million. Let's talk about the struggles. Is there any struggles or hurdles, biases, you name it, to get to your first?
I think the biggest struggle for me is, obviously there are logistical things, right? But I think even deeper than that is I was raised and naturally have a scarcity mindset. I was raised by a single mom in LA, the youngest of 3 girls, and we did not have a lot of money. And my mom was very good with money, very disciplined, but we were very aware that we did not have a lot of money. And having to overcome that scarcity mindset, which is my natural default, has been really challenging. And in some ways, that's where the community building unlocks it for me, because it's very easy for me to see in the context of relationships that there's always enough, there's always more. And then it makes it easier to believe that that's also true for business.
That's right.
But I think that piece, that scarcity mindset is, the thing inside ourselves is the hardest thing.
Well, I'm going to take that a little further, because now that you're a mom of 2 beautiful children, what money lessons that you are teaching them or trying to teach them?
It's a great question, because I don't want them to have the scarcity mindset, but I also want them to know that money exists. Because sometimes I think they think like, oh, things just magically appear. So I try to have conversations with them about the joy of saving up for something. If they see something they want, instead of just saying no, which was often the answer I heard growing up, I say, not now. You can have that, but let's save up for it. And I also agree with my children that I split the cost of things with them. So like toys, other things. So I pay half, they pay half. And then they have chores around the house. So just that idea of if you want it, you can have it, just not right now. And I think that's a huge skill. It's not always a yes or a no. It's not in this moment. Work for it, save for it, and then you can have it.
You just reminded me a long time ago I started writing blogs, Chinese English. So one of the blogs I titled it, I Choose Not to Have It. So I have the money, but I choose not to, because most people say, I can't afford it. Of course you can afford it.
Yeah.
At what expense?
Yes.
At what expense? So it's not like buying an ice cream, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like 5 digits, 6 digits. Of course you can afford it. But at what expense? I choose not to. So it's a different reframing of our mindset.
I love that.
I'd like to go down to the path asking about, you are such a community builder, especially for women. As you're thinking about sending the elevator, all the ropes down to them and help them, how does that look like? What platform are you using to do so? And how do you encourage them?
Honestly, I think that when it comes to women, it's almost like a field of dreams analogy. If you build it, they will come and the magic will happen, right? I feel like my role, the thing I try to contribute is just to create the spaces. Beyond that, I don't need to be prescriptive about, what I say or who's invited or anything like that. I think if you just create an opportunity for all of us to step outside of our normal grind, our day-to-day, show up with intentionality, and show up knowing that this is a space where we want to uplift one another. But then move your hands from there and just let the alchemy happen. Because when women come together, amazing things do happen. And so what I hope is sort of my contribution or my legacy on this is just to create the spaces and then get out of the way.
You and I are really, we say we're not wanting to control, but we do.
Well, we are August Leos. There's only so much one can do.
Yes, but there's a lot of intelligence and wisdom about just create a space. And those who's ready to show up, just come. Because 1 + 1 does not equal to 2. There is an exponential effect.
Absolutely.
What are you grateful for today, Laura?
For a lot, actually. I'm first really grateful for my financial stability. I'm grateful that I had set a goal for myself that by the age of 40, I was going to pay off my student debt. And damn it, I did. I'm grateful for that.
Good for you.
I'm grateful for my 2 kids. I never planned on being a mom, and now I have these 2 children, and they have completely changed my world. But I'm also glad that they are not the only thing in my world. And I'm extremely grateful for my friendships. I think that's one thing, particularly working moms can tend to lose.
That's right.
There's so many pressures on our time. We have to perform at work. We have to show up for our kids. But showing up for your community, my mentor, Ann Aiken, always talked about the 3 legs of the stool: family, work, and community. And I think a lot of people forget about that 3rd leg of the stool, and it doesn't feel as stable. But when you have all 3, I think it feeds different parts of your soul and gives you purpose. And so I'm extremely grateful for my friendships and my community.
We are truly grateful for you because you are one of the pioneers who invite me to these bigger spaces where I meet a lot of wonderful women. And there is friendship, and there is friendship, and then business. And we truly live a blended life.
Absolutely. I think the term, and I've talked about this before, people talk about work-life balance, and the one that I prefer is work-life integration. And so to your point, if you go to a LEAP meeting, some of the people there are going to be primarily just business referrals. That's great. Others maybe are more a personal friendship or support. That's great. It all comes together. That integration is what you need to succeed.
There is a season and a reason for a lot of those things happen. So today you're friends, but doesn't mean that you can't do business.
Right.
Today you're business counterparts doesn't mean that there is no friendship. So
Right.
that wisdom, let us sink in that wisdom from Laura. Thank you so much.
If you're ready to turn your what ifs to a $1 million reality, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Join our community of powerhouse women who are redefining wealth on their own terms.